Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. We start off with some encouraging news. I just saw that the state of California has the lowest COVID-19 case rate in the United States, and I think that's a testament to a smart and thoughtful reopening process as we move forward. The even better news locally, and we're going to share a new breakdown of vaccine dosages, is the news that this week our region ended up receiving about 100,000 more vaccine doses than we had received last week. This marks the first kind of significant jump in vaccines we've seen in a little bit. We don't yet know what we will receive next week, and so we'll have to wait to see, but we are encouraged by that and are hopeful that it signifies a greater opening in the availability of vaccines in San Diego County. We also are going to start sharing, and I'll do it as my first chart we get to here in a minute, the breakdown in those between federally qualified health centers, Indian Health Services, multi-county entities, the federal pharmacy programs, and the local health jurisdiction, which is us here at the county. And you can see week by week the rough percentages of breakdowns and then the total numbers that are being shipped. And then we will update that every week and share it here at this press conference. But this week, we're just short of 300,000 vaccines received into our region, which is more than the 198,000 that were received into our region last week. Obviously, we opened up the tiers to include everyone over the age of 16, and we continue to see tremendous demand on the appointments. As appointments are made available, they are quickly taken, the first dose appointments that are made available, and we think we will probably be in this state for a while. There continues to be significant demand for the vaccine, and that is encouraging, and we are encouraged by that. We're also encouraged. We've now administered more than 2.3 million doses of vaccine in San Diego County, and we are making considerable progress on the way towards meeting our goal and achieving our goal of 75% of those eligible receiving vaccines. We're about 65% of the way towards achieving our goal with first doses and 42% of the way towards achieving our goal with those fully vaccinated. So we appreciate everyone's patience as we continue to have appointments be taken quickly, but are also encouraged by the general direction we're headed. We'll talk about case rates and hospitalizations in a minute. I'll bring those charts back today, which show you essentially a little up, little down, but essentially kind of plateauing surrounding those. And I think that that's natural. People are out doing more activities. There's more potential for spread, while at the same time, more people are getting vaccinated. And so our case rates kind of ebb and flow, but you'll see a general consistency over the past few weeks of holding relatively stable. We don't know any news on J&J. We could happen into this week, could happen next week. The doctors are in hand to talk about that if you have any questions surrounding that. And then one housekeeping item. Last week we talked about some backlog in the number of COVID deaths and some adjustments that were being made. As a part of our ongoing quality assurance, we go back and re-verify and check our data, particularly from those periods in December and January where we were seeing thousands and thousands of cases. And we expect the case numbers as we do that quality assurance to make some minor adjustments later in the week, and we will share that with you and let you know. We don't anticipate anything significant or anything that would have impacted any tiers, but we will continue verifying all of our data. And finally, I want to recognize National Volunteer Week, which is this week. Since the start of COVID-19, more than 200 San Diego Medical Reserve Corps volunteers have served more than 5,000 hours. They volunteered their time and talent with the county's response in testing, sheltering, outreach campaigns, triage lines, and vaccinations. And we are incredibly grateful for all of the volunteers countywide, but in particular for our Medical Reserve Corps that has really stepped up in a time of difficulty and challenge. And so we say a special thank you and appreciation to all of those volunteers who helped get us through COVID-19. Let's jump into our charts here. This is the one I was alluding to. This is the number of COVID-19 vaccines shipped per week to San Diego County region. And you can see in the colored charts there the kind of breakdown by provider type. Again, what is encouraging here is the 294,440 that was shipped that we have this week, a significant jump over the preceding week. We expect it's COVID. We're going to have some ups and downs, and we don't yet know what next week will look like. But this is encouraging, and we will be updating this chart on an ongoing basis and sharing it with you every Wednesday to give you a more clear picture of the trajectory and the dispersion of vaccines coming into our region. I will note this does not include VA or Department of Defense numbers. We don't yet have access into those, but this gives us a general sense. Next, we will go to our dashboard. Here you can see the 2.3 million doses administered. I alluded to 65% of the way towards our goal with first dose, more than 42% of the way towards our goal with fully vaccinated. Again, 846,000 San Diegans fully vaccinated, and we expect these numbers will climb along with all of the normal demographic data we routinely share. Next chart. Here you see our cases, and again, you're going to have fluctuations, a day at 152 or 149, a day at 317, along with the fluctuations in testing. But in general, what you'll see here is a generally stable situation. That percentage of positive remains slightly downward trending, but holding right there, right around 2%. I think we're at 1.7% now for the 14-day percentage of positive. But again, you can see a general trajectory, and as more people engage and interact and move around, there's more opportunity for spread, but there's also greater protection every day by those who are getting vaccinated. Next, we will show you the normal, very busy, crowded chart, but you all are used to seeing it now of the tier system. Again, this week, not a significant change. We went from 6.0 to 6.1. Under the old system, this would have been cause for alarm, but again, the state has adjusted the rules around the tiers, and so we're not in any risk or danger of backsliding into the red tier. We're going to be in orange, stay in orange unless our case rates descend. But again, we are looking ahead to that June 15th date, which is not too far away, which is the anticipated retiring of the tiers by the state of California. And then the final two I just want to show you to demonstrate the kind of relative stability. And again, you're going to see upticks up and down in little amounts, but over the last 30 days, again, you can see a decrease, but relatively stable surrounding hospitalizations, and you'll see something similar here on the ICU data. Again, over the last 32 days, you're going to see upticks up and down, but again, very stable situation, and we encourage all San Diegans, look, let's continue to be safe, continue to utilize that face covering, avoid those high-risk settings. Now is the time as we're doing our recovery. Kids are going back to school, businesses are reopened. We want to continue to be a leader, to be safe, to be strong, to get people vaccinated, and to work ourselves out of this in a positive way.